1 second, everything was still. The trees, the streetlights, even the wind held its breath. Then, a blinding blue light poured from the clouds above a quiet Montana town. Cars stopped, dogs howled, and every power line in the area died at once. 7-year-old Ava stood at the window, holding her teddy bear. She whispered, "Mommy, the stars are falling." But no one answered. Outside, neighbors came out of their homes. Phones didn't work. The blue light moved slowly, like it was searching. Then it stopped, right above Ava's house. The roof glowed white. A low hum filled the air, so deep it rattled bones. Her mother screamed from the hallway, but by the time she reached Ava's room, the girl was gone. All that remained was the teddy bear lying on the floor. Military arrived minutes later. They saw nothing, no ship, no heat, no trail, just silence. But a neighbor's camera had recorded it, a dark shape in the clouds, lifting into space. Earth didn't understand what had happened, but somewhere, light years away, aliens already feared what they'd just done. Behind their closed doors, they met with people the public never saw, scientists who hadn't existed on record for years, military officials who didn't wear any flag. These weren't ordinary grief counselors. They were part of something older, deeper, hidden under layers of black budgets and secret treaties. Project Retribution. While news stations spun theories and internet forums exploded with blurry footage, Earth's top minds were already working in silence. They didn't want justice. They wanted balance through overwhelming force. In an underground facility, beneath Iceland, 10 ships were being built. Not by any one nation, but by all of them: America, Russia, China, India, Japan. Old enemies now stood side by side, united by one horrifying idea. If aliens could take one child this easily, what else were they planning? Satellites were reprogrammed. Probes that once explored planets were now being fitted with weapons. Deep space scanners were adjusted not to observe, but to hunt. Then, a signal came. A strange pulse from outside. The Kuiper Belt, repeating. A single word, decoded from the alien tongue. Regret. But they had already made their mistake. Earth wasn't waiting to talk. Earth was preparing to strike, a soft pulse from deep space, far beyond Pluto, barely strong enough to detect. It carried no video, no coordinates, just data, encrypted, odd, almost desperate. Project Retribution's linguists and AI worked non-stop to translate it. Finally, one message emerged. Regret. She is alive. The room fell silent. Inside the signal was something else, a biological signature. Heart rate, blood oxygen, DNA match. Ava Linwood, 7 years old, human. The aliens hadn't killed her. They were keeping her. But why? The project's analysts argued, was this a warning, a trap, or a plea? One thing was clear. The aliens were scared. You could feel it in the rhythm of the signal. Rushed, unstable, a fear not for themselves, but for what Ava might become. In the darkness beyond Earth, a child's presence had changed everything. The aliens were running, and humanity had just learned where to aim. Only a few knew the full scope. A joint task force of elite engineers, soldiers, and synthetic minds hidden beneath old Antarctic ice. 10 black ships were nearly complete. No windows, no national symbols. Just matte armor, fusion cores, and weapons never tested on Earth. Each vessel had one purpose: go beyond the solar system and bring Ava home. No negotiations, no warnings, no mercy. The AI commander of the flagship, Judgment, was activated. For the first time, it scanned the alien signal, tracked the pulse trail, and responded with only 3 words. Target path locked. Meanwhile, A secret vote was held in an underground chamber beneath Geneva. The leaders of 15 nations were asked one question. If Ava is alive and they refuse to return her, do we proceed with force? Every hand rose. Earth had sent explorers to space before, scientists, rovers, telescopes. But this time, humanity was sending something different, something the galaxy had never seen. A child had been taken. Earth was now a weapon. The moon she was on wasn't gray like Earth's. It was green, glowing, alive. Giant crystal towers pulsed softly around her, and strange birds without wings flew past in silence. The air smelled like metal and fruit. Ava didn't cry anymore, but she didn't smile either. She wasn't hurt. She wasn't locked in chains. But she was watched. The aliens called themselves the Veyari. Tall, pale, with no mouths and glowing blue eyes. They spoke through light and sound. They gave Ava food, toys, even a floating AI that sang to her in whispers. But they never let her leave the dome. One of them, Syrinx, watched her more closely than the others. Unlike the rest, Syrinx began to wonder, why had they really taken this child? What secret did she carry? Back in the Veyari command center there was fear. Earth's signal bursts had reached them. The humans had found Ava. They were coming, and the Veyari knew. They didn't have much time before humanity arrived. They didn't fear war. They feared what Ava might say when Earth finally reached her. Out of the folds of space, 10 dark ships emerged without warning, silent, cold, unyielding. Earth's fleet had arrived, not with flashing lights or peaceful transmissions, but with power humming beneath armor, ready to strike. The Veyari scrambled, defense grids activated, planetary cloaks rose, but it was already too late. The human ships were closer than they should have ever been. A single message was transmitted from Earth's flagship Judgment, spoken not in threat, but in absolute command. Return the child. Now. The Veyari Council panicked. They hadn't expected humanity to find them this fast. Their moon had been hidden behind gravity mirrors and cloaked in subspace folds. The humans should have taken years, not weeks. Inside the dome, Ava felt it. The sky shifted. Something familiar, distant but warm, was coming for her. But the Veyari made one final, fatal choice. They sent Earth a reply, just one word. No. And far above, in the war room of judgment, Earth's commanders looked at each other. They didn't argue. They didn't wait. Orders were issued. Invasion protocol was activated. From orbit, the 10 human ships unleashed precision dropships, sleek, silent and invisible to most known sensors. They slipped through the atmosphere like ghosts, landing in coordinated strikes around the alien moon's key points. Black-armored soldiers stepped out, guided by neural links and advanced AI. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They had one mission: retrieve the child, erase all threats. On the surface, the Veyari defenses came alive. Tower turrets spun, energy fields roared, but the human assault teams were already inside, hacking, jamming, dismantling. Every room they entered fell silent within seconds. Meanwhile, Ava was being moved. Syrinx, the alien who had watched her most closely, took a risk. Against orders, he broke protocol. He unsealed the dome's lock, held out a 6-fingered hand, and said one word in her language: "Come." Ava followed. The Alien War Council screamed for Syrinx to stop. But he didn't. He was no longer protecting her for them. He was protecting her from them. Above, Earth's fleet broadcast one final message to the alien system: target nearing. Extraction. No negotiations. You had your chance. The walls pulsed red. The Veyari moon was in lockdown. Outside, human forces were advancing too fast. No species had ever moved through their defenses like this. No species had dared. Ava was small, But she was calm. She didn't cry. She didn't ask questions. She knew what was happening. At the outer rim of the dome complex, a drop pod cracked open. 3 human soldiers stepped out, weapons ready, but they froze when they saw her. Their helmets scanned. DNA match confirmed. "Target secure," one of them whispered. That moment was broadcast live, across every secure Earth channel. Every general, every leader, every AI saw it. Mission success. Ava was alive. Earth had her. But then, Ava stepped forward and spoke. Her voice was quiet, yet the words shook every human who heard them. "They didn't want to hurt me. They were trying to protect me." The soldiers glanced at each other. Above them, Earth's fleet prepared to launch its final wave, destruction orders queued. But Ava wasn't finished. "Something worse is coming," she said. "Something they're running from." And just like that, Earth's commanders paused, because now they weren't sure who the real enemy was. Something worse is coming. Not a threat, not fear, just truth. Back on Earth, analysts scrambled to reprocess the alien signal. Hidden within the pulses was more than just Ava's vitals. There was ancient data, centuries old. Star charts, warning codes, symbols of a species unknown even to the Vayari. Sarek stood before the human soldiers, hands raised in surrender. "We did not take her as an act of war," he said. "We took her because your child has a signal inside her, something that responds to what's coming." He pointed upward, toward the blackness beyond the stars. "We didn't steal her. We hid her, the way you hide fire from a storm." Earth's commanders, hardened veterans of war, fell silent. Sarek continued. "They heard her heartbeat across systems. They woke because of her. The child is a key, not a weapon, not a hostage." Now Earth was faced with a choice. They could finish the invasion, crush the Vayari, prove that humanity never bowed to fear, or they could listen and prepare. Because in the darkness beyond this galaxy, something ancient had turned its eyes toward Earth, and it was already on its way. Above them, Earth's fleet hung in low orbit, silent, watching, waiting for the final command. The invasion could end now, or it could become something worse. But Ava looked up into the stars and whispered, "It's still listening." At that exact moment, every human ship received a strange transmission, not from the Vayari, not from Earth. It came from beyond their known galaxy. No language, just pressure. A signal like a scream held in too long. Earth's AIs shut themselves down to avoid corruption. Weapon systems glitched. Even Ava flinched, holding her ears. Sarek fell to his knees. Whatever it was, it had finally noticed. Humanity hadn't won. They had only been seen. The child was returned. The war paused. The Vayari surrendered, but the fear Earth now held was different. Not of aliens who stole a child, but of something that made even those aliens run. Project Retribution was over. A new project had begun. One with no name, no borders, and no rules, because the galaxy had just whispered a truth into Earth's bones. She is not the first, and you are not the last. War hadn't ended. It had just moved into the shadows, and Earth would never sleep again.